Well, right now at 6 o'clock, putting the brakes on speeders in Connecticut, what one town is doing that could help save lives.
One woman accused of killing a paraprofessional at Waterbury schools expected before a judge, where the case against Heather Anderson stands this morning.
And it is the sixth day of the truce between Israel and Hamas, where efforts stand this morning with information we're learning overnight involving the release of hostages and aid into Gaza.
All local, all morning. This is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Thanks for starting yours off with us, America Areas.
And I'm Keith McGill. Very grateful to have you with us as we get started this morning. We do so with a check of weather and traffic. Meteorologist Matt Scott standing by with that. A chilly route in this morning.
Yes.
There I am. Hi, good morning.
Hi.
Nice to see you. Forecast is cold.
Yeah.
We warned you. we did warn you. That's what we do around here. Temperatures, cold temperatures taking over. Yesterday was not great. High temperature wise, the lows are pretty low this morning. Little wind, a lower wind equals a lower wind chill. We'll talk about seasonal temperatures coming back, but some rain is as well. Details on that on the way. Not a lot of stuff out there other than a very light wind out of the northwest. Not looking for any snowflakes like we did yesterday. We're just focusing on the numbers or lack thereof. 21 to 31 is your spread this morning. Low 20s in the Litchfield Hills, mid to upper 20s up in the Quiet Corner, 29 in Groton. But you got to factor in those winds out of the northwest, up to 10 miles an hour. That knocks the numbers down to the teens at Windsor Locks, the Quiet Corner, New Milford, and not much better at the shoreline either. So the winds are backing off, so that's certainly some good news, but it's not going to do anything for the temperatures, not today at the very least. Once again, we struggle to get out of the upper 30s. Moderating temperatures next couple of days, that's some good news. We do have some rain to talk about. We'll talk about that all coming up in a few minutes. It's 6:02. Let's go to the roads. Good morning, Rachel Piscatelli.
Hey, good morning, Matt. So overall, things are running smoothly out on the roads here at 6:02. However, we do have some areas of road work that are currently wrapping up this morning over in East Hartford and also on 91 near North Haven too. So we'll take a look at East Hartford over on Route 2. We have a couple of intermittent lane closures on the eastbound side and the westbound side. The lanes are, left lane is blocked from exit 3 to exit 5D. And then we also have this area where the on-ramp from Route 15 to Route 2 is closed this morning. So just be mindful of that. But over in East Hartford, that looks better on 84, just over the Bulkley Bridge. Waterbury roadwork has wrapped up for your morning commute out by 18 and 25. And then we are looking at your New Haven drive times with still some roadwork on 91 southbound. That has not wrapped up for the morning commute just yet. So I am anticipating to see some delays over in that area within the next 15 minutes or so. Erica Keith, back to you.
Rachel, thanks so much. All right, heads up for drivers in West Hartford. Speed cameras are coming to town. It's part of a statewide safety initiative to reduce traffic injuries and deaths.
Indeed. So that means cameras could be coming to other cities and towns as well. Fox 61's Angela Bavard joining us live in West Hartford this morning with what we need to know. Angela, good morning.
Keith, Erica, good morning. And the town is using data and public input to identify 15 areas in town that are problem spots where these cameras will go. And this comes after West Hartford saw 6 deaths on roadways last year. Now, these new cameras will be installed sometime next year as part of a pilot program. Getting caught on one of those cameras, that could cost you a fine of $50 the first time around, and then $75 for those second offenses. Those cameras would flag drivers going at least 10 miles per hour over the speed limit, and then an officer would review video before issuing a ticket. The green light to install these cameras, that comes from the bipartisan Vision Zero bill that state lawmakers passed this year. The vision there, to see 0 deaths on Connecticut roadways. However, the plan to install these cameras in cities and towns drawing some debate as people raise concerns about surveillance as well as possible impacts on minority communities.
It's not fair to the people of the town. It's not fair to taxpayers. It's, I don't agree with it. It's too much law enforcement at that point in time.
Is the cop pulling you over an infringement of your rights? I mean, what's the difference between that and a camera? And I'm a rights guy, so it's people are speeding, you got to give them a ticket.
Now some details here. The Vision Zero bill does allow towns and cities to install speed and red light cameras. That is an option. They don't have to do it, but only with approval from local government and the state, and those cameras must also follow strict safeguards respecting privacy and security. Now, nearly $700,000 in recently announced federal funding will help install the cameras here in West Hartford. We are live in West Hartford this morning. I'm Angelo Bavaro, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Angela, a lot of opinions on this one. We will check back in with you at 7 o'clock. Meanwhile, it's just about 6:06 on a Wednesday morning. And new at 6, the results are in for a special election to fill the last seat on the Vernon Town Council. According to the Registrar of Voters office here in the Secretary of State's website, Democrat Bill Dauphin projected as the winner with 1,767 votes. Republican Bill Campbell finishing with 1,633 votes. The election, the result of a tie between the two, you'll remember, in the general election earlier in the month. Happening today, the woman accused of killing a Waterbury School's paraprofessional due in court for a plea hearing.
Heather Anderson accused of brutally murdering Shelley Stamp last year. Fox 61's Brooke Griffin is here now in the studio with a look at what could happen in court today. Brooke.
Well, prosecutors have offered Anderson a 30-year sentence if she agrees to plead guilty. Now today, Anderson is expected to reject or accept that offer, and we got a chance to speak with the victim's family. They tell us they do not understand how someone that's accused of murder can even be offered a deal. They say they want to see her charges and her sentence modified. Now, this all started back in October of last year when a family member found Stamp unresponsive in her apartment. Police say she was strangled. Now, Anderson and another woman are charged in the case. Police say the pair also stole money, shoes, credit cards, and even some food from Stamp's fridge. Today, more than a year later, Anderson will face a judge to respond to the plea deal that prosecutors offered last month. Now, if she accepts, she will be in jail for 30 years. But if she denies it, Anderson's murder case will go to trial. Stamp's family says they are working every day to learn to live without Shelley.
She was 34 years old. I never saw her get married. I never saw her have grandchildren.
We're pretty upset about it. Like she said, she was strangled with her own jacket by this woman, and it was brutal, and my poor husband found her.
Stamp's mother and sister are expected in court today to give statements about why they're going to oppose the deal. The family says they also plan to pursue murder charges against the other suspect, Shannon Gritzbach, because they believe that both women are responsible for killing her. Keith?
All right, of course, folks can stay with us on air and online for updates on that story. Meanwhile, Trinity College in Hartford will hold a vigil today in support of a student who was shot while on Thanksgiving break in Burlington, Vermont. Tashin Ahmed was with two of his friends last Saturday when they were shot near the University of Vermont, right in downtown Burlington. All three are of Palestinian heritage. The man accused of pulling the trigger, pleading not guilty to 3 counts of attempted murder. As of this morning, the U.S. Department of Justice and authorities still investigating whether the shooting was a hate crime. Today's vigil at Trinity expected to begin at 4:45.
It has been 6 days since the truce between Israel and Hamas began. Yesterday, Hamas freed 12 more hostages who were in captivity. Israel also releasing 30 more Palestinian prisoners. Now, among the hostages released, 9 women and a 17-year-old girl. Since the prisoner hostage exchange started last week, Hamas has released 81 hostages, and Israel has freed 180 Palestinian prisoners. As of this morning, more than 140 Israeli hostages remain in Gaza, including Kafir Bibas, who is just 10 months old, as well as his 4-year-old brother, Ariel. Now, they were both abducted along with their mother from their home in southern Israel. This morning, a mother who says Hamas killed her son and abducted her daughter is calling on the president to bring her home.
I'm asking from you, President Biden, to help me. I'm really begging you to bring Gali back home.
This morning, foreign ministers of the G7 countries, along with the European Union, are calling for an unconditional release of all hostages. The ministers also say they support extending the pause in fighting. Now, all this happening amid accusations that Israel and Hamas violated the terms of the truce. Israel's military reporting that it detonated 3 explosive devices near troops in northern Gaza. And it also claims that militants fired on Israeli troops who then returned fire. Israel's defense forces maintain troops acted in accordance with the ceasefire agreement. Now, humanitarian aid groups are also calling for an extension to the ceasefire beyond today. Long lines of trucks entered from Egypt into southern Gaza via the Rafah crossing yesterday. They brought critical supplies like food, water, fuel, and medicine for hundreds of thousands of Palestinians who are stranded. Despite the help, the UN World Food Program says it may not be enough to curb the humanitarian crisis on the ground. The Pentagon announcing plans to increase its humanitarian assistance with the first of 3 relief flights this week.
Today, the United States airlifted 24.5 metric tons, or more than 54,000 pounds, of UN humanitarian supplies to provide vitally needed medical supplies, warm clothing, and food and nutrition assistance to the people of Gaza.
Now, the increase in aid comes as the Biden administration pressures Israel to avoid further large-scale displacement of Palestinian civilians in southern Gaza.
More than 1,400 members of the Yale community signing an open letter calling on the university to push back against what it calls a rise of anti-Semitism. The letter accusing Yale officials of not protecting Jewish students and cited alleged incidents of hate speech. It calls for changes such as adding more Jewish and pro-Israel faculty in departments that are underrepresented. It also wants Yale to discipline faculty or students who threaten Yale's Jewish community, including banning groups that advocate violence against Jews or Israel and implement anti-Semitism training. Now, we did reach out to Yale University to respond to the open letter here. A university spokesperson releasing a statement. We want to share part of it with you, saying Yale has put the physical safety and mental well-being of its campus community first. Security on and around campus was immediately increased. Campus leaders reached out to those with ties to the region to provide them with support. And Yale was one of the first universities to issue a statement to its community, pointing members toward resources, including its expectations, policies, and guidelines for events and activities happening on campus.